The first book every man should be reading is How to Win Friends and Influence People. You might have heard of this book in like the self-help, self-improvement community and like the space around YouTube. That okay, this is like a social skills book and everything. But it's more than just a social skills book. It's like the most basic version of a self-improvement book. You read the book and basically the author, Dale Carnegie, he's an amazing guy. He basically gives you examples on how he used certain principles that he mentions later. So he says like, okay, yeah, how to get people to like you instantly. And then he gives like a few stories of his own experience of using this principle, so you get some examples on it, and then he gives you the principle so that you can go implement it. This book is more than just a book where you read from point A to point B. Every time, I'll remember this, if you're gonna buy this book, and you should in my opinion, this is like the book that got me onto self-improvement, like it's Mirror, but this is basically the book. There's a bunch of different versions of it, but essentially you gotta get this one. Very cheap, by the way. It's one of the cheapest self-improvement books. It's like less than $10 where I live, so it's like a few dollars, $8, $7 converted in from my money. Basically, this book will give you like a bunch of principles on how to be a good leader, how to make people like you and become a better friend, how to become a good conversationalist, how to get good at arguments and everything. So you have all this stuff right in this book. It's like a handbook. And every time you are curious about something, this is specifically how you should be reading this book. Every time you're curious about a certain social skill that you want to learn, maybe you want to learn how to get good at arguments because you tend to get into a lot of arguments with like your mom or your dad or one of your friends. So to make sure you have a healthy argument, and maybe not even an argument at all, you want to read that part of the book so now you have that curiosity and then you learn it. Maybe you're going and hanging out with your friends, or a new person is coming to your friend group. You want to learn, okay, exactly how I can make this person like me. Now when you read this and you start implementing all the stuff that he says, like all the principles, like okay, smile, get interest in the other person and everything, you're gonna feel somewhat fake, and that's completely fine. The thing is, when we try to practice something that we're not practicing usually, we're gonna feel fake. It's like getting a new habit, but then after you get the habit of doing it, you tend to just get it into your normal life. For me right now, most of the principles in this book I do subconsciously because I've been doing it for months, right? I got this book back in like February of this year, and it's like December right now. I've been practicing this basically for this entire year. It's become like second nature to me. That's the word, second nature. And you won't even notice you're doing the principles, but at first, for like the first month, you're gonna have to deliberately practice these principles. So just practice all these principles. You don't have to do every single one. Figure out the one that you're interested in right now. Don't read the book from point A to point B. That's a mistake I did. Don't be like, okay, I'm gonna read 20 pages now and everything. Don't do that bullshit. Simply open the book, open the table of contents, and then figure out what you want to learn, which part of the book you want to learn from. How to get people to like me, how to get better at conversations, how to become a better leader. Maybe I want to make YouTube videos on self-improvement and everything. Or maybe I want to become a good argumentalist, or I want to get good at arguments. Figuring out which one I'm actually interested in, I can actually go and like improve that part of myself, which I'm gonna use later. And that's the main important part. You gotta use what you learn. Every time you learn something, right, you get an idea on how to use it. It's almost like a quick time event on how quick you can go implement that idea. So maybe I learned something from this book, right? And I have an idea on how I can use this right now with my mom. So maybe like from a point like, okay, I get interested in another person, ask them about their life. I could use that with my mom right now, and I'm not doing it because I'm like, oh, I'll do it later. Don't do that. When you get the idea on how you can use it, you go use it immediately. I'll just give you my takeaway from this book and my own tip, which you can you can take it as an actionable step right now. Go up to one of your friends and ask them like a really deep question. Some question that you've never asked them before. Maybe you do these questions subconsciously, like you just ask them when you're on walks with them. Those are the best questions because you know those are the questions that generally tend to deepen your friendship, make you know the person better. Even if it's a bad story from their side, you feel a lot more connected with that person. You feel a lot more like you're their friend. So if you start asking these open-ended questions like, so what do you respect most about your father? How would you raise your son to be different from you? What's one memory you would erase from your past? These are some pretty deep, personal, open-ended questions. You can think of your own, maybe like sit down for 10 minutes and write down like 3 or 5 different open-ended questions from your own side that you could ask people. And now these questions are not just questions where you just like ask them so that they can get to talk. You want to specifically ask the questions that you actually want to learn the other person and would make them feel like, okay, yeah, you're actually interested in the other person. So for example, if I'm your best friend and you want to get to know more about me, you're not going to just copy the question I just said where it's like, oh yeah, what do you respect most about your father? If you actually care about what I actually respect about most about my dad, then ask me that question. But if you don't ask me that question. Curiosity is the key to learning. So if you're not curious about the fact about what I'm like what I respect most about my dad, don't ask me that question. Think about a question where you actually want to learn more. Maybe I have this friend, his name is Namit. I want to learn, okay, what's something he actually regrets in life the most? What's his biggest fear? So what's the fear that he has that he's gonna grow up and face that fear? Like, what's the fear that he fears when he grows up? And then he answered that question. I asked him like months back with that question. He's like, oh yeah. He said the answer, right? Personal. I'm not gonna just like tell you the answer. Basically, he sent me the answer. He told me the answer, and I actually wanted to know it. I didn't ask him a deep question because I wanted to get him to talk and like me more. That's selfish. You want to ask the questions that you genuinely are curious about that other person. When you meet someone randomly, you can't really just go up and ask them the exact same question I just told you. You got to think about what you actually want to know about them. Maybe you meet a girl outside, right? Maybe you meet a girl and she's very pretty and everything, and you cold approach her and everything, right? Maybe you actually want to know, okay, yeah, what inspired you to get that hairstyle? Now, that's not a deep question or anything, but you actually want to know. Maybe you actually like her hairstyle, it's all curly or whatever your type is. You actually like it, so that'll get her talking because, you know, she's like, it's her hairstyle, she'll like it and she'll say. And you get to know more about her because you were actually curious about it. These menial questions like, how was your day? Oh, tell me about your family. It's like, sure, nice, but let's just be honest, you don't care about how their day was. Just being completely honest, it's not like rude or anything to not care. You just don't care. So you want to ask the questions that you genuinely care about. The second book I want you to read is The Compound Effect. I forgot the author's name, but basically it's The Compound Effect. This book is one of my all-time favorite books. I still use every principle from this. There's no necessarily principle, but there's a lesson. You have to think in hundreds. You have to think about the compound effect of things. So I'm gonna give you an example. You can use your intuition and tell that, okay, if I eat 1 spoon of sugar today, I won't die. Right? I won't die right now. But if I ate 1 spoon of sugar every day for 100 days, 1 full heap spoon of sugar, you could expect that I would get some disease. You would expect that I got some health problem. Even if you're like a very healthy person, sugar would still probably give you some detriment to your health because, you know, it's unhealthy. And if you eat it every single day for 100 days, it's going to kill you. 1 hamburger today won't make you fat, but over a time of 100 days, if you eat the same hamburger every single day, nothing changed, but just a hamburger, you're gonna become fat. So you got to think about the compound effect of things while you do them. So maybe listening to music on your 10-minute walk to school or 10-minute bus ride to school is nice, sure, but you could listen to a podcast. You could listen to 10 minutes of a podcast that you're interested in, maybe some podcast on sleep, maybe hard work, maybe some educational podcast on, like, you know, how the world works and everything, how to speak better, or whatever your interest is, right? If you listen for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes on your way to school, maybe you took your phone and your headphones, right? Maybe your school ride is like 30 minutes. 30 minutes of a podcast is not that much, but 30 minutes of a podcast over 100 days, that's 3,000 minutes. You could become almost a master in a topic by listening to a podcast on that topic for 3,000 minutes. You could agree on that. So over the course of 3 months, if you just listen for 30 minutes a day, not even the whole day, just 30 minutes on your way to school, that's probably gonna get you a lot of knowledge which you could use. And it was zero effort because you were just in the bus listening. So you have to think about the compound effect of things on the bad side and the good side. Staying up that one night probably won't hurt you, but staying up multiple nights in a row, not even in a row, like over the course of a week, you stayed up like 2 or 3 of those nights, that's gonna have some bad health detriments, like super bad. Sleep is super important for you. If you stay up nights, you're probably killing yourself. You probably shaved off like 2 years of your life if you stayed up more than 10 nights, just being completely honest. So the lesson from this book is, think in hundreds. Don't think in like the menial, or today or tomorrow. Think, okay, if I put 2 spoons of sugar in my tea, sure, it's only 2 spoons today, which won't kill me, but over the course of 100 days, that's 200 spoons of sugar that you're drinking in your tea. That could probably give you some health detriments, not benefits, detriments. Obviously, you want to like do this in your own way. Sure, you can still eat sugar if you're going out with your friends and like you can have a little bit and enjoy it, right? But on your general days, make sure you're thinking of the compound effect of the things you do. One video that I upload right now probably won't do much, but over time, over 100 videos, I probably provided so much value. I learned all my mistakes. I learned how to speak better on camera. I learned from my own mistakes. And I taught people on how to like, on the topics that I'm interested in over the course of 100 videos. So one video of me uploading this, it won't do shit, right? But if I keep this consistency of uploading nice videos every 2 days to my YouTube channel, that's gonna compound into like a great YouTuber lifestyle. You have to think about the long term. So every time you do something, even if it's talking to your friend, think about the long term. So the next time you talk to the girl you like or the girlfriend you like, speak to her as if you're super in love with her and you want to make her feel 100 days of love right now. And you can imagine how loved she would feel. Even if it's just your crush, don't like flirt with her like over the top, but simply just speak to her in a way as if she just lived 100 days with you. You can imagine how this is like. If you don't speak to girls or whatever, simply do this with your mom or some friends you have, and they'll genuinely like you. You can imagine that if someone spoke to you in a very nice, calming way, as if they've been doing this for 100 days, you would like it. So keep the compound effect in mind. The book's name is The Compound Effect. Number 3, The Way of the Superior Man. This book is a book that's not really talked about most of the time. Only intelligent people know about this book. This is a spiritual book, but it's not like this was some voodoo topics book. It's basically a book on how to become a man. How to have a purpose. Your purpose is basically the reason you've been put on this earth. Everyone in life has a purpose, and they go through multiple purpose layers to reach their core purpose. But in the general sense, your purpose is why you were put on this earth. Every human being is different. Every human being has a different reason why they're here. Our DNA is different. Our face is different from anybody else. It's very rare that you'll find the exact same person. So it's kind of a no-brainer. It's kind of like a duh that we're here for a reason. Every single one of us. I'm here for another reason. You're here for another reason. What is that reason? What's your gift to the world? Your purpose is kind of like the gift you can give to the world. This sounds like voodoo topic, but basically it's like there's some people who's super interested. Maybe when they were a child, they saw a doctor and they were going to the doctor and they said, okay, I want to help people medically. So they have this purpose of, okay, I'm going to become a doctor. So they work super hard. They go to med school. They get great marks. You know these people, like YouTubers and everybody you know, med school, everything, right? So that they can become a doctor and help people. That's their purpose. And when you have a purpose, hard work feels good. My purpose is speaking. My purpose is giving knowledge in a very synthesized, nice manner. Ever since I was a small kid, I always synthesized, like, funnel knowledge in a very understandable, palatable way to my family members and everything. Every time I learned something new, and YouTube was like my vehicle. Now, being a YouTuber is never really a purpose. It's more of like a obsession. It's more of like a vehicle to actually do the thing that you're meant to do. Because there's doctors on YouTube, there's speakers on YouTube, there's gamers on YouTube. So YouTube is never the purpose. YouTube is generally the vehicle. The same thing as like, okay, a hospital is kind of like a vehicle to do the thing that you want to do. So when you're a doctor, if you're a doctor, right, you don't really want to, your purpose is not to go to a hospital and work. Your purpose is to help people. So the hospital is the vehicle. So you got to imagine this. Your purpose is the reason you're here. And you got to find the vehicle where you can do it. If you like speaking and making coaching videos and everything like me, you could use YouTube as your vehicle, or you could use Instagram, or you could use TikTok, some platform where you can practice your purpose. And generally, if you don't know your purpose and you're thinking, okay, what's my purpose? I don't really know my purpose. And you might have an idea of it. It's generally what made you happy as a kid. So when you were a kid and you didn't have like school responsibilities, obviously you had school probably, but then you didn't really care much. What's the thing that you did for fun? What's the thing that you as a kid would do simply for free? Even if it was like a job, you would do for free. What is that thing? Because that generally is your purpose. That's the reason why you're here. That's why kids are the most wholesome people. That's why kids are the most enlightened beings and the most present beings, because they just know their purpose. But they don't know that they know their purpose. They're just doing it for fun. But then as we get older, other people's desires gets put on our heads. You know this. When you get older, maybe not you, maybe some friends you know, but generally you or like your parents, if you're from like brown families, they'll probably be like, okay, you should be an engineer, you should be a doctor, you should do this, you should do that, you should get this much marks in your school, you should do this, they have all these external desires that they put on you that they didn't even get. That's stupid, right? They had these desires when they were a kid. They couldn't reach them, so they now use you as the vessel for their own dreams, which is stupid and selfish. Don't listen to them. Don't take other people's desires as something that you should do. Now, obviously, you should make your parents happy. You should earn enough money to the point where you can retire your parents, 100%. But you should never, and I repeat, you should never take other people's desires and then fulfill them. You shouldn't change what you're doing to make other people happy, because they're the selfish ones. They think that you should go to this university, they think that you should get this job, they think that you should study this much, and they think you should get this much marks. Well, that's not authentic to you. You don't want to get it, so why the fuck should you get it? Now, obviously, don't be rude to them. They're like, oh, I'm not going to do this. Make them happy. But every single day, for maybe a couple hours a day, you should be working on your purpose. If your purpose is to become a YouTuber and speak on camera, but you're studying like science right now for some like medical degree or some shit, you should still practice for that, because you can't really escape it. But you should, no doubt, every single day be practicing your purpose so that you feel fulfilled. Otherwise, your heart, the reason why you're here will get buried under the rocks, and like your drive will be stolen by these uncles and aunties who tell you that, okay, you should be this, you should be that. And even if you don't have this like situation, your friends probably have that, and I feel like you should be sharing this to your friends. You don't have to share the video if you want. You can share it if you want, but I'll get some more views. But you could just share the idea that you shouldn't really be making other people happy. Sure, they have the drive to make their parents happy and everything, which 100% you should do. But you don't have to do what they want you to do to get the money. You know, there's a bunch of jobs that get you the same amount of money. If you want $10,000 a month, you could get that as a YouTuber, you could get that as a doctor, you could get that as an engineer, you could get that as many jobs. You don't have to do what they say you should do. So don't listen to them. In their life, maybe the engineer and doctor will actually work, but times change. There's a bunch of jobs that give you the exact same amount of money. So figure out your purpose. What I would suggest you do is turn off your electronics. Now, you don't have to turn them off, but simply just don't use them for a day. For a day, don't use your laptop, don't use your phone. But just keep them there. You don't have to, like, if you're really addicted to them, maybe you have to give them to your mom or something. Go extreme with this. And then just sit at home. You don't have to sit in the same place. You don't have to meditate or anything. But simply get a piece of paper and really ask yourself, what made me happy as a kid? I did this. And I realized that I made YouTube videos. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to become a YouTuber and speak on camera and teach something. I don't want to keep talking about myself, but basically, I would pretend I was recording. When I was a kid, I used to play Minecraft and make Minecraft videos. Before I knew how to make videos, I would pretend I was recording, like, hey guys, welcome back to my Minecraft Let's Play. So today, I'm going to show you how to get to the Nether, but before that, we need to get the diamond pickaxe. There's a super nice way to get the diamond pickaxe. I'll explain it to you right now. I wasn't even recording. I would simply just do that for the sake of doing it. I loved teaching. I loved synthesizing knowledge and putting it in a way that the audience can understand. I was doing this since I was a kid. I have a bunch of videos that are unlisted of Minecraft videos on my channel. I was basically like born to be a YouTuber. I don't want to like boast or something. I was born to like speak on camera. You might not be like that. You might be very inspired by me and other people who also are very good at speaking on camera. But that might not be your purpose. That might not be the way you speak, and that might not be the way you should live. Maybe you're really good at editing. Maybe you're really good at leading a team, managing a team. You need to figure out your purpose, something that you really enjoyed as a kid, and then translate that into an adult format and then do it. That's going to make you the most fulfilled. I feel the most fulfilled when I'm editing videos, like editing my own videos, not like editing random videos, but editing my own videos and recording them. And when I upload them, I feel super fulfilled because I feel like I'm helping somebody. Even if I help one person by watching this video, maybe you're the only guy. I don't know who's watching till this far, but you're probably the only guy who's reached this far. If I helped you, I'm going to be fulfilled. It's as simple as that. So figure out your purpose. Read the book, The Way of the Superior Man. You don't have to buy any of these books. You can download the PDFs. There's a million PDFs online. Just download it, read on your phone or your tablet. Maybe a chapter a day. And you'll start to realize what your purpose is. There's a bunch of chapters trying to help you figure out what your purpose is and how to actually love a woman and how to like breathe fully and everything. This book is like my guidebook. If there's one book I would read for the rest of my life and not read any other book, it would be this book over and over again. I have more videos like this on my channel. You can go click it or subscribe to my channel. Bye.